What's up, guys? Welcome back to Boutique Tactical. On today's video, we're gonna go over the new Cocncepts Arc V4 placard. They just dropped it over the 4th of July, so we're gonna check it out and see what new features it has over their previous one. Before we get into that, I just want to say thank you for the support. Please continue to comment. It helps with the algorithm. And subscribe, hit that notification so you get notified of new videos, and share it with a friend trying to grow the channel. I really appreciate you guys and all the support. All right, enough about that. Let's get into it. So this is the new V4 placard from Cocncepts. If you guys don't know Cocncepts, great company, veteran owned. They make amazing nylon gear, kit, plate carriers, chest rigs, mag pouches, belts, you name it, they have it. Really great company. If you see my videos, I use a lot of their gear because it's really high end and it holds up. It's great stuff. So previously this was their V3 placard, nylon laser cut placard, hook and loop that you kangaroo open and you put an insert in. Right, as you see here, this is their new V4 placard, right, version 4. So right off the bat, one of the upgrades they did is, if you see, they added a Velcro here to the front, Velcro patch, to the, the Molly rows, and it's still laser cut Molly. What's cool about that is you could add on any, stick any pouches on, or add any identifiers onto your placard you couldn't before. So I do like they added that, little small thing, but but cool. Another thing that they added and changed is, if we turn this around, still Velcro on the back, right? But they just had one wrap. These are just one wrap straps to hold buckles or G hooks. You can, interchange. And when you weighted this placard down, like if you had pouches on the front or anything attached, it kind of sagged a little because it's just one wrap, especially if you were running it like a longer strip of it. Now they reinforced those straps, if you see here. So they're reinforced, and they added nylon where the buckle or G hook's going, so it really gives it more structure, more integrity in the structure. I like that. So that's a really big improvement. Now they also changed on the sides here. They give you a good amount of material, more so on the V4, and I'll explain why later in the video. But that has Molly as well, so you could add pouches to the side. The reason they have the shock cord, they had it on the V3, is to suck everything in, if you want to cinch everything up. The thing with the V3 was, when you cinched up the shock cord, you had extra shock cord, so you either had to cut it, knot it up like you see here, and I would have to stuff it in places just to get it out of the way. What they added on the V4, if you see, they added the little stoppie, the little plastic stoppies. I like that because you could just cinch it down with the stoppie, and if you want to let off the tension, you don't have to take out knots and find where you stuffed it. You just take it off. So really cool add on there. One of the biggest improvements that the V3 doesn't have, so it wasn't changed, this is just something completely new. So when you open this placard up, right, they have, if you see these little tabs here, see the coyote brown tabs, that is so you could individually extend your placard for each cell. Meaning, if you're running longer mags, or you want to run your mag deeper in, you want it to go deeper in, or you want to run your mags higher, you can undo that, just a Velcro strap, and change the height of each cell in there. So if you see, like, I'm gonna extend it down for you guys so you guys can really see it. So see how see how that came down now, and I have more room here, so I could put my magazine deeper down. You can modify that, and that's super cool that they added that. I think that's a big deal. I don't know any placard on the market that has something like that, so that is super cool. And if you want them all, you just line them all up, and it'll be all in the same length and all that. So that is a super cool improvement that they did. And that's basically it on the V4. As far as price range, still the same, about $80 for the placard, and then you need inserts. So, if you have the V3, is it worth going to the V4? I think so, and I think it's not just because of what I showed you with the columns, but what I'm going to show you next. So they have two types of insert. They have the RAM insert, which you see here. This is, the insert that they used. And they also came out with the new Spectre insert. These are 55556. You could get them in 308 and all that. I got them in 556. What's cool about this is the shingle style. It collapses. I like this. It has the little tabs up here, so if you want to put shot cord and have retention, over your mags, you can. But what's cool about this is, and why they gave you so much material on the side over the V3, the V4 you could double stack and fit 6 mags in there, and I'll show you guys how to do it. One little tip, whenever you're doing these inserts, even if you're just putting a triple in here, a single, which you could run, you don't have to run double like I'm doing, you just have the ability to, which I think that's why it's worth getting it over the V3. One of the tips I would do is preset your magazines in before you put the insert in, because it changes the shape of it, and it's easier to just get everything lined up in your placard. If you want everything in the middle there, you don't want more magazines to the left, more magazines to the right. So what I do is I preset them, so I put them in. All right, and so now we have the RAM insert set up, and now we're going to go with the Spectre. What's cool is you can lay this on, and I'll show you guys. So I'm going to also set up my Spectre with the mags so they all coincide and the mags are all in the same spot. And now you could run either or insert. Like if you just want to run the Spectre, you can, or you want to run the RAM insert, which is the one that has the tigress on the sides, the Tigris. I always say that wrong. So I got that. Our magazines go. These are P-Mags, as you see, guys. They are 30 rounders, but they only fit 10 because in my state you cannot have 30 rounders. I know, crazy, right? Unbelievable. All right, so now I have them set up and I'm lining them up so they're pretty much all the same as far as how my magazine went in depth-wise. And now you just overlap them and kind of set them up, make a nice little sandwich there of 2 inserts, and see, now they're together, they're retained in there. Super, super cool. Now, a trick to put this in, because when you have Velcro, everything sticks and it's a pain in the arse. So what I did is the bag that the placard came in, I just, ripped it open and cut, just like this. And now just take a bag, or you could take 2 pieces of cardboard, whatever you got laying around, but since you're going to have the bag because you bought it, this is the easiest way. And this allows the Velcro to be covered, and you could set this in all the way so everything is lined up, right? So what I do is line it all up, make sure back is there, okay? That's there. All right, so now what I do is I just start to pull this out, and it's in there. And now I set the back Velcro, and now take it up, and I set the front Velcro so everything is sitting there perfectly and aligned. And there we go. Check it out. 6 mags in there. Great retention on both of them. Reinserting them, super cinch. I mean, that's awesome. So now you could run basically a full combat loadout in this one placard. It doesn't really bring it out too far. It's almost, if you're running like an admin pouch on this, same type of as far as coming out. I know some guys, and particularly myself, I don't like when my, the front of my rig's coming out too far, but it's not bad, guys. And like I said, I don't know many placards in the market that allows you to do this. Now, I know you could do a quad with this one. They did make the quad RAM insert for the V3. I've talked about that in my previous videos. I think it was a little too stuffed in there. I don't think they had enough material. I think that's why they went to the V4, and now you have more than enough material here on the sides. And you could still now, with that extra material, you just take the shot cord and just pull it and cinch that down just like that. You do it to the other side. Take the little tabby, cinch everything down, and now you have a nice compact package. Also, cool thing is, let's say you take out your mags from where the Spectre is, right? Oops, sorry, that was the RAM insert. Let's redo that. I had it in the front. So you take out these mags out the front. This is the Spectre. And now look how it collapses back. It collapses back to just if you had a single insert in there. So that's super cool as well. So you have the ability of running 3 mags and having that insert, if you want to have more mags, you have that ability. I just think that's super cool, guys. Really, really thought out placard from Shaw Concepts, which they do with all their stuff that they make. So check it out. I think it's definitely worth upgrading, even if you have the V3. And if you're looking for a placard that you don't have any, the V4, the Arc V4 from Shaw Concepts, tons of modularity, tons of adjustability. Definitely worth it. Here, like I said, this is in Ranger Green, but they make it in all colors, multicam, black multicam, I think, multicam, Ranger Green, Coyote Brown, black, and Wolf Gray. They sometimes come out with like Arids and Jungle Stripe from time to time. So sign up to their newsletter, and they they'll shout that stuff out. But guys, the V4 placard from Shaw Concepts, this new drop, definitely worth it. What do you guys think? Let me know. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Later.